In this video, I'm going to go over a couple of simple examples that use a for loop statement in a C++ program. Example 1. We want to write a program that asks the user how many integers the user wants to enter. Then, based on the user input, use a for loop statement to allow the user to enter the integers. Then, after the looping statement, display the largest number that the user entered. Here is a sample run of this program. How many integers do you want to enter? 5. Then we enter 5 integers. And at the end of the program, we're going to see the largest number that we entered. Now let's get started on this program. Instead of provide the code directly, I would like to go over the thought and the logic behind the code. First, let's declare 2 integer variables. And later I'm going to show you what we're going to do with those 2 variables. If we assume user won't enter 3 integers, and this would be the code, we declare an integer c and assign the integer 3 to this variable. Then we display a message and ask user to enter 3 integers. Then the user enter the integers, and the first integer goes into m directly without doing any comparison. Then the user would enter the second integer, and we save this integer into the variable a, and then we compare the second number with the value of the m, which is the first number. If the second number is greater than the value of m, then we will replace the value of m by the second integer. Otherwise, I will leave the value of m without change. Then we ask user to enter the third number. Then again, I'm going to save the third number into the variable a, and overwrite the second number. Then we compare the third number with the value of m. If the third number is greater than m, then we replace the value of m by a, otherwise we leave m alone. So the m always the largest number among those integers that user entered. So, except the first one, we always compare the integer that the user entered with the value of m. If the number that the user entered is greater than the value of m, then we will replace the value of m by the integer that the user entered. So the m is always the largest number that the user entered. So if the user entered 3 integers, we're going to put the first one into the m, then compare the second and the third. If the user entered 5 integers, then we will change this c to 5. Then we're still going to put the first number into the m without any comparisons, then compare the second, the third, the fourth, and the fifth number with the value of the m. Whenever we have a large number, then we replace the value of m by the larger number. So we just need to have 2 more of the if statement. If the user wants to enter 5 integers, then we just change the value of the C to 5 and change the message. And we're still going to put the first integer that the user entered into the M without any comparison. Then we're going to compare the value of the next 4 integers that the user entered with the value of M. If any integer that the user entered is greater than the value of M, we replace the value of M by the number that the user entered. Okay, because the number that the user entered is in variable A. And since we always replace the value of M by a larger number, so the value of M is going to be always equal to the largest number that the user entered. So when we have done the last integer that the user entered, then we just display the value of M, which is the largest number that the user entered. Okay, this is so, and we can repeat this with a different number. Say if the user wants enter 50 integers, then we just change this to 50 and change the message from 5 integers to 50 integers. Then we're just going to repeat this group of statements 49 times. Because the first one goes into the M directly. Now we're going to do exactly the same if statement and cin statement for the rest of the 49 numbers. So we just repeat cin A, if A greater than M, M equals A 49 times. But that will make this program too long because just by repeating the same group of statements. So the better way to do it is use a for loop statement to automatically repeat this statement, say 4 times if the user entered 5 integers, or 49 times if the user wants entered 50 integers. So we just use a loop to replace this sequence of same group of statements. And this is what we're going to do. We're going to change this a little bit. If the user wants enter 5 integers, then we're going to make the value of C equals 5. Then we're going to put the first integer into M, then compare the rest of the 4 integers with the value of M. So if the integer is greater than M, we're going to replace the M by that integer. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And you can see all those 4 group of statements are identical. So instead of writing the code of this cin and if statement repeatedly for 4 times, I can write a looping statement to do them 4 times. Okay, this is what the loop statement will look like, which is equivalent to 4 set of cin if statements. So this for loop statement will execute cin and if statement 4 times, which is exactly the same as 4 group of cin if statement that we have had earlier. Okay, now if the user wants enter 50 integers, then we just change this to 50 and change the message. Then here we're still going to put the first one into the M. Then we're going to use this for loop statement to repeatedly execute cin and if statement for 49 times. So each time when the user enter an integer, we compare it with the value of m. If the number that the user entered is greater than m, then we replace the m by the number that the user entered. Otherwise, we move on to the next one. Then when we have done this looping statement, the m is going to be the largest number that the user entered. Now, you probably notice if the user won't enter 3 integers, then the c equal to 3, then here I less than 2. If the user won't enter 5 integers, then c equal to 5, and here I less than 4. If a user won't enter 50 integers, then c equal to 50, and here should be 49. So basically, in the for loop statement, this looping condition is I less than c minus 1. So if c is 3, and here is 2. If c is 5, here is 4. If c is 50, and here is 49. However, this program is setting the c to a specific number. So once the program is written, the user has no control over the number of the integers they want to enter. So say if we set the value of c to 50, then when the user runs this program, and this user can only enter 50 integers, and the user cannot enter more and cannot enter less. So that's why we say the user has no control over the number of the integers the user won't enter. So we need to change this program a little bit so the user, to let the user to have a control over the number of the integers the user won't enter. Okay, if the user has more number to enter, they will set a larger number for c. If the user has less number want to enter, then they will set less value for c. So we let the user to determine the value of c. Okay, this is what we're going to do. We would delete the initial value for the variable c. Then we add a message right over here by using a cout statement. Okay, we'll ask the user, do you want enter? Then we will use a cin statement to take the user input and put the user input into the variable c. So now the value of c can be determined by a user of this program. So when we run this program, we would see this message first as a user. Then the user will enter a number. Say if the user only have 5 integers to enter, then they will put 5 here. Then the cin statement will take that 5 and put it into the variable c, and that c will control this for loop for 4 times. Then we'll calculate the largest number among those 5 numbers the user entered. Okay, and this c can be any number. If the c is 50, then this for loop would be controlled by 49, and we're going to do the seeing if statement 49 times to get the largest number that the user entered. But there's one more thing here. This 50, I want that to change as well. So if the user want enter 5 integers, I want this message to reflect that information. So we don't want here to be 50 all the time. So we're going to change this a little bit. Okay. We're going to do please enter, then stop here, and then do arrow, arrow, then put the value of the C right over here, then arrow, arrow. Then we put a quotation mark. So we basically split please enter integers into 2 parts, then insert the value of the C in the middle. So here we, instead of display a specific integer, we display the value of C. Okay, now this program will work. Okay, so let's run it and take a look at the output of this program. So let's build. Looks good. Then go to debug, start without debugging. Here's the output window. So the program asks a user, how many integers do you want to enter? Let's say we want to enter 5 integers. Then here it says, please enter 5 integers. Say 23, 45, 15, 10, and 34. So the largest number should be 45. Let's see. The largest number is 45. So the program is working correctly. Okay, this is the first example, and hope this video helps, and thank you for watching.